Hello, it's Midday. Welcome to Joy News today. I'm Bernice Abubeidulansa. Our headlines: 16 passengers feared dead in accident at Otreko off the Accra Cape Coast Highway. Meanwhile, rains exposed Ghana's gaping potholes, highlighted in Joy News' Ghana Potholes exhibition. And family of a 26-year-old mother of one allegedly shot and killed by her lover throng at Sakare Mampon District Court in Kumasi. We've got details of these and more, plus business, sports and showbiz in this package. Please stay. This bulletin is live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144, and across our social media platforms, Joy News on TV. We start off on a rather disturbing note. 16 passengers are feared dead, while some 40 others are injured in an accident at Gomwa Otreko, a town on the Kaswa Cape Coast Highway in the central region. Adom News correspondent Seth Kofieje reports the accident occurred about 100 meters from the Gomwa Otreko River. Let's hear from Winneba Municipal Fire Service Commander DO2 Kwesi Hughes.
There are 40 and then 16 lifeless bodies were also retrieved. The road has been blocked for yes. So the blockage happened around 4:50, and so till now, no car has been able to pass to Accra. No car has also been able to pass to Cape Coast direction. It makes the traffic situation very, very terrible. But we are working very hard to remedy this situation. As you can see, we have been able to pull from the road the U-turn. Once we are done retrieving the lifeless body in the tanker, we will also pull it away from the road so that the traffic situation, with the help of the police, will be opened. We share the sentiments of the drivers and all that, but they should bear with us. It's a crucial situation, and lives are involved.
Commander, how many cars are involved?
2 cars. One a U-turn bus from Abidjan to Liberia Camp, and the other one was fuel tanker belonging to Goodness Energy from Accra direction to Cape Coast direction. And so they are just 2 cars, but the impact was heavy. It was heavy. We have recorded this number of fatality because of the number of passengers that the return bus was carrying. And so we are doing our best. The ambulance service have been fantastic. The Ghana National Fire Service, my men have been marvelously wonderful. They have worked tirelessly to remedy the situation.
The injured persons are currently receiving treatment at the hospital. Now, some residents of Teshie are protesting the bad nature of their inner roads. They are asking government to fix them immediately. The demonstrators moved through popular streets from Adjoman roundabout to Teshie Mami. James Aveji covered this live for us. We understand the protest just ended. James, earlier on News Desk, you were speaking to some traditional leaders, musicians, basically people in the community who had a certain demand to make to government. Was there a response from government? Did any rep or from government receive their concerns? So what you see now on your screens are pictures of that demonstration that ended just a few minutes ago. James Aveji's line is a bit dodgy. We are still trying to reach him for him to let us in on what exactly happened before the protest ended. Hello, James. I was asking if there was a representative from government to meet the protesters or listen to their concerns.
Yes, Bernice, the MC for the area has actually come to meet the protesters to take their petition. The protesters indicated that they are giving government a 2-month ultimatum to actually fix the roads. Earlier, when we spoke to most of them, they indicated that they actually tried to fix the road, especially at Ajomang Junction. But some few days later, all equipment that have been brought on site to fix the road were all taken away. And those issues have been pointed out in their petition. They also made a point that the current state of the road is actually giving them, actually hampering their movement as well as giving a burden on their expenses. Some made the point that if you pick a taxi in and around Teshie, for a distance that you would be paying like 10 Ghana cedis, you end up paying like 40 or 50 Ghana cedis. Those were the issues they pointed out in their petition, giving government some 2-month ultimatum to actually fix the road. Now, the MC in his response indicated that government has already commenced actions to fix the road. I don't know if we can speak to the MC. Okay, it's been whisked away by security. And so in his response earlier, he indicated that government is fixing 4 major roads, coming up to a total of 16.9 kilometers in total in the Teshie enclave. That, he said, government is committed to. He said they have actually commenced the project earlier, but for the IMF negotiations with central government actually demanded all assemblies to halt the construction of any road across the country. And so that directive is what actually halted the construction. He also made a point that the construction of the Teshie Beach Road was the major cause of the deterioration of the Teshie Inner City Road, where most of traffic during heavy traffic hours were diverted from the main road into the Teshie Inner City. And so that actually put pressure on the road, leading to their quick deterioration. And so those were the points he made. He said that they are not going to work within the 2-month ultimatum because they have already started the construction. And so I asked whether there is a new ultimatum government will be working on. He said they will not be working on within that 2-month ultimatum, and they don't want to give any other ultimatum to themselves. But what the promise is that they will expedite the construction actions on the roads in order to get the roads fixed, those 4 major roads fixed, amounting to some 16.9 kilometers fixed within time to alleviate the plight of the residents.
James Aveji there giving us a gist on what's been transpiring at that protest where the MCE has responded to concerns of residents in Teshie. A stitch in time saves 9, but certainly not on Ghana's roads. The rains have once again exposed the country's monstrous, craziest and deadliest potholes. Many portions of our roads would not have deteriorated into gaping potholes if state agencies had fixed them on time. Today, Kojo Yankson kicks off Joy News' campaign, Ghana Potholes Exhibition, which exposes what he describes as widows and widowers making manholes on our roads.
Much as it is the role of the media to scrutinize government, it is also important for the press to give them credit for their achievements. Now, one particular achievement for which the press has failed woefully in an unjust, unfair, and unsportsmanlike manner to give government credit for is this: our potholes.
Yes, sir. They be
Just look at them, deep wide, jagged-edged moon craters peppered artistically across the asphalt canvas of our national road network, turning 10-minute journeys into 50-minute torture sessions, wreaking almost as much havoc on your spine as your shock absorbers. Yes, Ghana's potholes are one of the uncelebrated triumphs of leadership for which our government must not only be lauded but applauded.
Now, what most people don't realize is that these monstrous death traps are not actually signs of the incompetence of our government supervisory bodies. They don't point to any lack of skill on the part of our road contractors. No, these are actually clear evidence of the unmitigated success of some of government's top flagship programs.
Which programs, I hear you ask? For the answer to that profound question, we must take a closer look.
Look at this one. Mid-sized, quite deep, shaped like some sort of asphalt amoeba. To you, this is an accident waiting to happen. But to the government, this is perfect for planting corn.
Yes, sir. They be a bay. Now so they be pepper that bang. They be a bay.
And it's not just good for planting corn. Potholes are perfect for rice plantation.
Ghana for there are some I say when tea will be ready my tem.
Tomatoes.
Things need to be said and tem.
Even cocoa.
As the rainy season approaches, the true value of these potholes becomes apparent. They are perfect for a farmer in planting for food and jobs.
So there you have it. If you have ever wondered why some of these potholes you see on virtually every road in this country of ours never get fixed, well, now you know.
And that is not the only flagship program that government is delivering to rip-roaring success with these cherished and beloved potholes. There is also one village, one dam. Just think of the irrigation potential for the Planting for Food and Jobs project we saw earlier.
And we're still not done. Look at this. Look at the deadly jagged edge of this particular beauty, shaped like the fangs of a village witch. Now, let's measure the depth.
I say when tea will be ready my tem, but some things need to be said and tem.
What do you think happens when your car hits this pothole at speed? Obviously, you immediately need spare parts. After a few encounters, a whole new car. If government is able to maintain a few of these widow-making potholes across the country, just think of what it will do for the automotive industry. One district, one factory.
So the next time you feel like throwing your hands up in despair at the state of our roads, the next time you wonder why government keeps throwing money at incompetent contractors to construct roads which after 3 months will break out in potholes like a prepubescent teenager's face breaks out in pimples, just remember that these are the evidence of your government's stellar performance. Why would they cover them up? Reporting from Ahaya Kwanhu, my name is Kujo Yankson.
Yes, sir. They be.
So here's how you can be part of this exhibition. Take a photo of the roads in your area. You can just produce a short video sharing what happens when it rains or what the potholes look like in the roads in your area. And use the hashtag Ghana Potholes Exhibition. That's how you can join us, highlight this problem. Away from that, lecturer at the University of Ghana and member of the opposition National Democratic Congress, Professor Michael Kwesa-White, has been convicted of the office of contempt of court by the Supreme Court. This was after he had pleaded guilty to the charge leveled against him, bordering on a series of tweets he made on May 19. He was asked to appear before the court to show why he should not be cited for contempt for scandalizing the Supreme Court, bringing into ridicule the dignity, respect and stature of the Supreme Court and inciting prejudice against the Supreme Court. Legal Affairs correspondent Joseph Akable was in court for us and joins us with more. Joseph, tell us exactly what transpired in court and what is next in this case. Joseph is finding it hard to hear me now. He's unavailable at the moment. We'll reach him and bring you those details. You want to stay for that, involving a lecturer at the University of Ghana and member of the NDC, Dr. Bessa White, being convicted of the offense of contempt of court. Let's stay in court. Family of a 26-year-old mother of one allegedly shot and killed by her lover have thronged the Asokore Mampon District Court in Kumasi. The relatives, who claim they are in court to seek justice for their departed loved ones, were dressed in red and black with inscriptions, "Justice for Majwa." Inspector Ahmed Chumesi, who is said to have shot the lady multiple times in the chest and abdomen with a service rifle, is appearing in court for the second time after being remanded into police custody a month ago. Ohiming Terry of our security desk is at the court premises and joins us from there with more. Ohiming, tell us what transpired in court today. Hello, Heming, if you can hear me, can you tell us what happened at the Asokore Mampon District Court earlier today? We seem to have a challenge with our lines there. Apologies for that. We'll try and work out the lines and take you back to the Supreme Court and the Asokore Mampon District Court, where Ohiming Teria will be joining us live from. Meanwhile, let's do some other stories. Illegal miners have taken over River Tano in a renewed onslaught on the already polluted water source, despite a recent crackdown on irresponsible mining close to Samraboy in the western region. The Environmental Protection Agency has reviewed disturbing levels of mercury concentration in the river after concession owners engaged security agencies to flush out the miners last year. Love FM's Erastus Asari Donko has more.
Love News in 2022 captured Akunta Mining Limited and other illegal miners polluting the Tano River at Samraboy in the western region. We uncovered irresponsible mining polluting the Tano at various points in communities like Atala, Uhiampenika, and Datano sections of the river. A year after producing the Distraction for Gold documentary, we went back to Samraboy to gauge the situation on the ground. The miners have abandoned posts and left behind deep pits and gullies they created along the Tano River. Ofusua Sare Samuel is the assembly member for the Mumuni electoral area.
After your last documentary, those that they were in operation, they left the community or they left the site. They are no more here or destroying the land.
But our tour of the adjoining villages along the Tano revealed disturbing pictures of direct active mining in the Tano River with residues directed into the Tano. Shamfan operators and illegal miners currently sit on the river at various points. These Chinese miners were spotted at Boya, a farming community, driving the excavators and operating the mine themselves, contrary to mining regulations.
This is purely illegal. There is no buffer between the Tano River and what they are doing. And if you see in the distance, there is a washing bay sitting at the edge of the tunnel, washing directly into the river. This is purely criminal.
Close to the airstrip at Samraboy, these two Chinese nationals were found operating this mine, which seems to be violating the government's buffer zone policy for mining close to major water bodies like the Tano River. They told me the site belongs to Akunta Mining Limited.
People for Akunta people houses for you go drop me pojo. This side Akunta people. Yeah.
Officials of Akunta Mining will not respond to the claims. The devastated Atala, Uhiampenika and Datano lands fall into the concession of Unipower Mining Company Limited. But even before Unipower could complete its licensing processes to start mining, large parts of its concession have been invaded by illegal miners. David Thompson is Corporate Affairs Manager.
Whilst we acquired it over a period of time, illegal miners started to come onto the concession. We tried to engage them in a cordial manner to try and say, hey gentlemen, this is illegal mining. We didn't really get too far in that negotiation. Therefore, we informed the Mineral Commission. So we engaged the military to remove them. They were removed, and then subsequently, they've started to come back again.
David speaks of the dangers of mining in the river tunnel, calling for urgent steps to control the practice.
Any activity on any of the rivers, straight away, it's like, surely, people, please, this is going nowhere for you. You're going to make a quick buck. How long is it going to last? But the decimation, the catastrophe that you're leaving behind is shocking. The poisons, the colours of the water, the local indigenous people who wash their clothes from that river, who are drinking and using to cook their food from that river. I mean, it's a travesty. And I really believe that should stop an awful lot of the illegal mining on the rivers immediately.
Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Atala, Ohiam Pernika, Samraboy, Western Region.
Let's now go to the Supreme Court here in Accra. My colleague Joseph Akable is there for us. Joseph is giving us an update on that case where lecturer at the University of Ghana and member of the opposition NDC, Dr. Peksa White, has pleaded guilty or has been convicted of contempt of court. Joseph, we know Professor White had issued an apology and indicated that he was not referring to the Supreme Court. Did he offer that explanation in court?
No, Benes. In fact, when the case was called and the charges were read against him, and he was asked to indicate his plea, whether guilty or not guilty, he initially said he was not guilty. Subsequently, he again said that he was guilty with explanation. And finally, when he was reminded by the court that he needs to state his plea in simple terms, either guilty or not guilty, then this time around, he said he was guilty. It was at that point in time that his lawyers, led by Dr. Justice Kemsai, took over and explained to the court that he had shown remorse in that right after the summons were issued, he immediately caused the public statements to be issued, deleted the said tweets, and even proceeded to cause a publication in today's Ghanaian Times edition, indicating that he was apologizing to the court. Copies of that apology also made available to the Supreme Court and the judiciary for that matter. And so they urged the court to forgive him.
And Joseph, we understand the court had to take a recess for 30 minutes and return with its decision. It cautioned and discharged Dr. Peksa White. What reasons did the court give for its conclusion?
Justice Mariama Owusu was presiding over proceedings. They point out that the court ought to balance the fact that what he had said and the comments he had made were quite serious in terms of the integrity of the court, and the fact also that he had taken steps to apologize to the court. She did indicate that the judiciary is the only institution or the only arm of government required by law to act as a check on the other arms of government, the legislature, the executive, as well as even public institutions and citizens for that matter. And so it was important for its image to be protected. It made reference to the unfortunate killing of the judges in the 80s and said that such comments tend to tempt people to attack and scandalize the court. But be that as it may, the fact that he's rendered that apology, the court will conclude that the punishment should be that of cautioning him. That is to say that he should go and not commit such an offense again and discharge him.
And run us through the panel members again, Joseph. One of them, a professor, had some advice.
Yes, in terms of the presiding judge, we have Justice Mariama Owusu presiding. Other judges who joined included Lovelace Johnson, George Kumsin, also had Justice Professor Henrietta Mensah Bonsu, and Samuel Adibu Esiedu, all being members of this particular panel. Professor Mensah Bonsu was the one who had that advice to give. As she said, as a full professor of law herself at the University of Ghana, she knows that it is not easy for someone to attain professorship status, and Professor White being an associate professor, it means that he is someone who is respected in the academic community and has a huge following. And so he must be mindful of what he says, because those comments have the potential of urging people to make other comments that does not help the image of the court. And so she urged him to be mindful of his stature in society and not make such comments going forward. And that the courts do not expect people to actually agree with them. They do not want to be praised. All they want to be done is to be critiqued in a manner that does not denigrate the court.
Finally, Joseph, Professor White himself was there. What was his demeanor, and did he or his lawyers speak to the media after the case?
I mean, his lawyers opted not to speak, for obvious reasons, and especially because of what had transpired and the conclusions that have been reached. But he was calm throughout the proceedings. The only point in time that he seemed a bit pensive when he was in the box was when the court went on that long 30-minute recess to decide on what the sentencing should be. At that point in time, he put his fingers together in the manner that we do when we are saying a word of prayer, and closed his eyes and waited patiently for 30 whole minutes. And at a point in time, his lawyers had to walk up to him and put their arms around him and were interacting with him. And so the court, the judges returned and handed the decision being that he has been cautioned and discharged.
Joseph, thank you. Joseph Akable is our court correspondent, giving us details on that case involving Professor Akpesa White of the NDC and a lecturer at the University of Ghana being convicted of contempt of court for some comments he made on social media. Let's stay in the courts, but this time we head to the Ashanti region, where family of a 26-year-old mother of one, allegedly shot and killed by her lover, have thronged the Asokore Mampon District Court. Their relatives say they are there to seek justice for their departed loved one. Ohiming Teria of our security desk is there for us. Hello, Ohiming. Run us through what exactly transpired in court today. Ohiming, if you can hear me, kindly run us through what transpired in court today.
It's been a very busy day for relatives of the late Victoria Dapa, who besieged the court premises in vast loads. Later, many of them also came on foot. What we realized was that when even the court proceedings started, many of the relatives were agitated, and some had even threatened to deal with the accused person, Inspector Ahmed Echumesi. And soon as he was brought in, before the court proceedings started, the relatives and the loved ones started casting aspersions on him, and some also threatened to deal with him. So this delayed the court proceedings for some time. And when the court went on recess, we also saw some plainclothes and uniformed police officers searching those who were in the courtroom. Perhaps the police were informed of the presence of some weapons or whatsoever. So when the participants in the court were searched, then later we also realized the arrival of some armed policemen at the court premises here before the court proceedings started. So as we speak, it's a very packed courtroom, and many of the relatives and loved ones of the late Major who came to witness proceedings here did not have that opportunity, so they have to wait outside the court premises whilst the court has also gone on recess. So we are waiting for the case to be called as we speak.
All right, Ohiming, and the family of Major, we can see on our screens, have some inscriptions on their shirts: justice must prevail and justice for Major there. And so when do we expect the case to be heard?
Anytime soon, because the court has been hearing several of those criminal cases, and the information from the court is that very soon the presiding judge will back to his seat and then start hearing. So we should be going in any moment from now.
Thank you, Ohiming Teria, there joining us from the Ashanti region, the Asokore Mampon District Court to be precise. We will be keeping our eyes on this case, and you definitely will get details in subsequent bulletins. Away from that, a 75-year-old woman who has spent 21 years planting trees is encouraging more Ghanaians, especially women, to help restore the country's degraded forest reserves. Comfort Boachewa, who owns a 300-hectare indigenous tree plantation, says the act promotes good health. Ohiming again.
Boachewa, a timber merchant, responded to calls by the Forestry Commission 20 years ago, asking Ghanaians to venture into private tree plantations. Her company, Boachewa Enterprise, received 500 hectares of degraded Onyamso Forest Reserve to replant. Despite challenges, including high cost of labor and funding constraints, she has since managed to plant 300 hectares of her allocated lands. Since 2002, she has been growing indigenous tree species such as Hutum, Wawa, Emre and Mahogany. Her plantation is comparable to the size of 560 standard football fields in the Onyamso Forest Reserve in the Ashanti region.
I will encourage every woman who has the strength to go into tree plantation. Look at me now. I am very old, but because of the plantation, I don't look my age. When you preserve nature, that's what happens. God also protects and blesses you, so I'll advise everybody to venture into tree plantation.
Madam Boachewa's struggles have paid off, as a plantation, which is similar to a natural forest, attracted a visit by officials of the Forestry Commission, led by the Chief Executive, John Alote. The visiting team had their vehicles stuck in mud as they journeyed the plantation, a routine ordeal of Madam Boachewa and her workers. Mr. Alote was full of praise to Madam Boachewa for her perseverance and wants other women to follow her footsteps.
This place was degraded, so 500 hectares was allocated to Boachewa Enterprises to develop as a plantation site. As we speak today, they've developed about 300 hectares out of the 500, and it is doing very well. It's over 20, some of the trees are over 20 years now. And as we went around, you could see some of them, the Fram, the Wawa, the Mahogany, all of them are doing well. This is a lady who has invested in this project, and we thought it twice. We'll come here, see at first hand how the trees are doing. Even as we speak about green in Ghana, planting trees, we need to showcase what the other people have done so far as tree planting is concerned.
Meanwhile, the Jaso District Forestry Manager, Anim Brew, says Madam Boachewa's plantation is impacting positively on the rain patterns in the area. According to him, the Forestry Commission will provide her the needed support to prevent illegal loggers and other perpetrators from invading the plantation.
Economically is good, environmentally is also wise to do that, because we know the contribution of the forest reserves in generating rainfall, and so we cannot discount what we are experiencing today. You could see the change of environment, and so it's a factor to what we are experiencing today.
From Jaso for Joy News, Ohiming.
And in Kokomlemle and Bernice Abubeidulan said, this is Joy News Today. Do stay with us. Bevelyn Broom is standing by with the latest from the world of business.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Business here on Joy News today. With me, Beverly Brom. We go straight to our very first story, and government is taking some extra measures to limit the amount of debt that can be incurred by any administration. It has therefore proposed a debt target as part of fiscal reforms under the IMF program. The following Business Desk report has more.
Government in its economic document, the IMF, which has been approved as part of the fund program, is proposing what it calls the debt target. This is part of a broad mechanism to promote fiscal discipline. Government in the document argues that the current laws on how we raise revenue and spend monies will be strengthened with this limit. The debt target will look to control extra budget spending and focus on what it describes the single operational rule. Managers of the economy in the document maintain that they will get the required legal backing for this action by amending the Fiscal Responsibility Act with this debt target initiative. The move, government believes, could prevent the situation where the country's debt might reach unsustainable levels and lead to another debt restructuring program. Government in the document is also proposing to reform the existing Fiscal Advisory Council, which will help play a more active role in assessing the realism of macro-fiscal projections ahead of the budget approval. There are also plans to ensure that all ministries, departments and agencies do their financial reporting and expenditure through the gift mix program. The move will help track expenditure of all these institutions. Government is also assuring to publish all fiscal strategy and risk in line with the public financial management regulations.
Moving on, the head of support to the private and financial sectors program at GIZ, Christian Jan, says it is important to invest in building the capacity of young entrepreneurs who he describes as the backbone of Ghana's economy. Speaking at the handing over ceremony of business startup tools to over 400 young entrepreneurs in Sunyani after skills training in partnership with the Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, Mr. Jan urged the youth to improve their lives by investing in themselves. Bono Regional Correspondent Precious Semevo has more.
German Development Corporation, GIZ, through its support to the private and financial sectors program, has presented business startup tools worth over 1 million cedis to 420 young entrepreneurs from the Bono East and Ahafo regions at a ceremony in Sunyani. The items include computerized sewing machines, motor spraying machines, soap making and cutting machines for beneficiaries who participated in the business idea competition, and the Jumaye short-term skills training to empower and help grow their businesses. Joshua Hiaba is the GIZ's regional advisor to the program.
There was a basic challenge where the young people had challenge with access to finance to start their own business. So we decided to come up with innovative financing models which will be best practices for others to follow. And one of such was to organize a business idea competition. The other program was the short-term skills training, which was part of a special project we call the Bono Project. And these are all efforts to promote self-employment, job creation, and youth empowerment.
The head of the PFS program at GIZ, Christian Yan, in his address underscored the importance of investing in the people who are the backbone of Ghana's economy.
All of you are the backbone of this country and the country's economy. It is for this reason that we find it very important to invest in building the capacity of young entrepreneurs so that you can start your businesses and expand further to create jobs and employ more people. Investing in yourself is the best investment you will ever make. It will not only improve your life, it will improve the lives of all those around you. Remember that your journey requires persistence and resilience, and with that, you will always make.
Minister for Employment and Labour Relations Ignatius Bafowa, who graced the ceremony, said measures are in place to deepen vocational training to benefit more people.
We have trained our labour officers, so together with GIZ we will be monitoring their activities. They will be sending reports to me on a monthly basis to see how they are doing. For those that will even need further assistance in terms of coaching and mentorship, we'll continue to provide that until we see that they have matured and that they, when left alone, they can be on their own. So if really we want to solve this problem of unemployment on our hands, the best way to go is to make sure that we deepen vocational training as a way of providing hands-on training for our people. Germany, our partners, have done it and they have been successful. So if we really also want to be successful, this is the way to go.
Some of the beneficiaries spoke to Joy Business.
The startup kit is going to allow us to produce more products per day. So it is going to make our work more efficient, and it can also help us so that we can also employ others when we are starting with our mass production. And I also want to thank GIZ for this opportunity they've given to us and their support.
Precious Semevo, Joy Business, Sunyai.
And that's all for business this afternoon. We have more business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I'm Beverly Broom. Next is sports.
Let's do sports now. On Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. Black Stars coach Chris Hilton has assembled 24 players for the upcoming African Cup of Nations qualifier against Madagascar. These are the players that have been invited by Chris Hilton for the game that, if Ghana wins, could be qualifying to the African Cup of Nations. Goalkeepers are Lawrence Atizigi, Joseph Wallacott, and Abdul Manaf Nuruddin. For the defenders, Dennis Odoi, Alidu Seidu, he makes a return, having missed the double-header against Angola due to injury. Gideon Mensah is there. Patrick Kozo is also in there. Daniel Amathe, Joseph Edu, Alexander Jiku, and Nicolas Opoku. These are the players who have been called up to man the defensive line of the Black Stars. For the midfielder, we have Thomas Partey, Mohamed Kudus, Majid Ashimeru, Abdul Salis Samed, and Edmond Ado. For the wingers, Joseph Benso, Osman Bukari, Kamaldin Suleimana, and Enes Nyama. He's been called up from the under-23 team. What this means is that he's likely going to miss the African Cup of Nations under-23 championship. That's going to be staged in Morocco because Ghana's game is happening on 18th June and the tournament starts on June 24. For the attackers, it is Andre Ayew, Jordan Ayew, Inaki Williams, and Kwesi Ochiri. These are the players Chris Hilton has called up for that game against Madagascar. That's your sports for now. We do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com. We appreciate your company.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News today. This afternoon, rapper Edema the Weekend thrilled thousands of music lovers in the Volta region, Akachi district. This move is part of the musician's birthday celebrations and also giving back to society. Here is all you've missed.
far so good. You can get my single Cool Chop on all the digital platforms, and you can watch the video on YouTube. It's there, banging.
I know that you've been in and out, so I want to find out, now that you're back, are you back?
Yes, I'm back like back.
And we'll be having like more,
a lot more in the pipeline, I tell you, so watch out for sugar.
But the Cool Chop is very interesting. I want to know the whole idea and the idea behind the whole song.
But you know what we girls do? Sometimes when we see Oga, we think say we go chop am cool, so that's.
But it's not happening this time. What is going on?
Oh my God!
You know, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, we're looking forward to all your exploits in the industry, and know that you have our support. You look really fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
That we all for Showbiz here on Joy News Today. The small Showbiz news and subsequent bulletins. Also, when you log on to myjoyonline.com/entertainment. You find all Showbiz stories. Good afternoon to you, Benis.
Right, good afternoon to you, dear Becky. It's good to be here with you, sitting in for Aisha.
Yeah, I miss you and Aisha, all right?
Great. So that'll be it for this edition of the news. Do log on to myjoyonline.com for more news. Don't forget, we're also very interactive on Facebook and social media. We are Joy News on TV. Kindly stay with us. The Marketplace is up next. Enjoy the rest of your day.